Hello everyone. So welcome to an amazing and informative video where we will be discussing that how to get into Oxford University. Everything you need to know about applying for Oxford. There are many students who from their childhood have a dream to go into this university. So these are the must know things which you must know if you want to go into this university. Let us begin. So we'll start with the very first thing, that how is the application process. So there are various ways with which you can apply. The first is UCAS application. So you can apply to study at Oxford through UCAS by submitting your personal information, academic qualification, both predicted and achieved grades. In case if you are applying in year 12, then you have to go ahead with predicted, a personal statement and a reference from teacher or advisor. It is crucial to ensure that you meet the application deadline, typically in mid-October for most of the courses. Keep in mind that UCAS deadline for international applicants may be different. So please see to it that from which region you belong. Accordingly, you can select your application. Next way is admission test. So there are certain courses at Oxford that require applicants to take subject-specific admission test. So it is important to check the requirement for your chosen course and be sure that you register and prepare for these tests in advance. Next is shortlisting. After the UCAS deadline, the admissions tutors will assess the applications and select candidates for interviews. Who are these admission tutors? These are simple representative of Oxford University only, who are mainly responsible for selecting these students. They are normally subject heads or quite senior teachers of the Oxford University. Okay, so they will be different based on which course you are applying for. So based on where are you going, you will be assigned an admission tutor. It is important to note that all applicants will be asked for interviews, as the number of shortlisted candidate is typically much greater than the available spots. So here there is a catch, that even if you are called for an interview, there is still a chance that you may not proceed forward. Okay, so you have to keep a hold on this thing till the end. Okay, because normally the number of interviews taken are more than the available spots. Next is interviews. So these tutors, which I was talking about in the previous part, they take interviews to evaluate that how good you are in your academics and how suitable you are for your course. These are typically in person, means you have to go there in the university, and sometimes in some cases for few courses it can be online as well. Okay, so you can see as per which course you are applying for. Then comes the decision and offers. So following the interview, the admission tutors will assess the interview performance, application document, and if applicable, the test scores of that entrance test what you have given. And based on that, they will come to a decision. The accepted applicants will receive an offer which can either be unconditional. Unconditional means you have gotten spot in the university, or it can be conditional if you are applying early. So you may be given a condition that you have to present a certain score at the end of your A levels. Okay, A levels or any equivalent exam will do. And then finally we come to the results. So once you have completed your final exam, your exam results will determine whether you meet the condition of your offer. Basically the A levels grades will determine. In the next part, we will be discussing that on an average, what is the percentage of applicants that get into Oxford. So this is the data. I got some good piece of data from Oxford University website. So you can also check, this is the official data on the university website. And here, if you look at these numbers, we will not do the math, but if you see, this is roughly 12 to 15%. So I can say that the acceptance rate of the application is around 12 to 15%. Okay, which is quite fair as compared to so many competitive exams around the world. Okay, so if you have it in you, then there are chances that out of 100, 12 to 15 students are getting accepted, okay, which is quite good. Now comes the very important question. How many A levels do you need for an Oxford? So there are minimum 3 A levels to gain entry to the Oxford. Then you might be thinking that what should be the grades in that? So you have to be on the toes. Grades will be either A star in all three or AAA depending upon which curriculum you are in, or it is not necessary that you have to give from A levels only. You can give any equivalent qualification like IB. So in IB, a good score is considered to be 38 or 40, okay, in that range, and that will be suitable for applications to be accepted. Now the next thing is that this particular thing is bit subject specific and the course specific, okay. So here, depending upon which course you are applying for, you may have to give some entrance test, okay. So here you can see that if you're applying for mathematics and computer science, maths stats, or maths and philosophy, then you have to go through MAT. Score to get through the application will be 80 plus out of 100. So it's like 80% you need to bring in that MAT to get through the application process. Then if you're going into any English language, literature, classics, or anything related to that, then there is an exam called as ELAT. All these exams you can find more on internet. You'll get a lot of information, how to prepare, when to give, what are the deadlines, everything. In that you have to get around 48 out of 60. Okay, so this comes out to be roughly 80%, or yeah, roughly 80% once again. Then comes the next. If you are going into any history or economics or any combination of these, then there is a history aptitude test what you have to give. Still, based on what you are applying for, you can cross check whether this test is needed for you or not. Okay, this is just a general info. In that, you can get a 68 plus score to get through it. Then the last one is if you are going into biomedical or medicine, then BMAT. Okay, and in BMAT, 6 out of 9 is considered as good score. Okay, so anything 6 plus will be good for you to get into the university. What are the easiest courses if you want to get into it? Okay, there are many students who just want to get into the university to get the tag that you are an alumni of Oxford. So these are the courses which are relatively having higher acceptance. I'm not saying that you can very easily get, but yeah, competition relatively is less. Any of these courses, if belongs to you or you are interested in, then you can think twice. What is the interview process? Now, how it goes, all description is written over here. I'll just explain you in brief that roughly the same tutors who has been assigned for your particular department or the course will take the interview, which will be roughly for 20 to 30 minutes. Okay, they will be mainly checking that how good you are in your academics, problem solving skills, analytical thinking, and communication abilities. Okay, they will definitely challenge you with new concepts or problems, often involving the analysis and discussion of text and scenarios to evaluate how good you are in the critical thinking. Okay, so there can be a debate, there can be some discussion based on what they will give you. They may also touch on personal statements and relevant extracurricular activities. So beware, if you are mentioning anything in your application, then that should be genuine. It will allow you to actually demonstrate that how really good you are in that particular thing, what you have already mentioned in your statement or the co-curricular. Okay, all this is just to make sure that how good and how sound you are academically, and overall how you can face anything on the spot to check your critical thinkings. Okay, so interview may not be considered as very difficult, but yeah, they just want to check that how suitable you are for this particular application. So that is how it is constructed. Then another very important question which is there in few students' mind if they have not got favorable results in their GCSE or IGCSE. So definitely getting good results in GCSE will be an added benefit, but it is not a deciding factor which can lead to the rejection of your university application. Okay, so it is good to have a good score, but at the end what will be checked is your A levels or any equivalent like IBDP or anything equivalent to this. Okay, how good you are in that and what are the grades in your A levels, that will be mainly checked. Okay, this is quite funny question. Is Oxford only for the wealthy? Yeah, many people think that it may be or may not be. So over the period of time they have made certain efforts to make sure that the university and the courses are accessible to the people who are from different backgrounds. So there are certain reservations and quotas and like predetermined seats, and they are working on it every year. So you have to check this thing, that if you fall in any of the criteria where you can get some reserved seat and get into it easily as compared to a general applicant. Okay, so these categories are quite widespread depending upon various ethnicity groups, then disabilities and all miscellaneous stuff. There are so many things, so for that you have to refer to exact list from the university website. You'll get good idea, but it is wrong. It is definitely not for the wealthy. If you are deserving enough, then you can get very good scholarships and get into it and pursue your dream career. So I hope that this video gave you a good insight about what all things you should know about if you are thinking of getting into this university. If you want similar videos for other universities, then feel free to mention that in comments. We will be more than happy to make a video for another university application process.